Okay.
Can't wait to
Hi,
see
welcome
your
everyone to SK.
videos.
And I hate to tell you guys, but we worked on this intro so much, y'all gonna have to watch the intro first, okay? Ready?
We're
And
making you.
oh no! Yeah, that was weird. It was not where I
It's not
told it to
working.
be. Y'all know we are not great at live streams. Like
It's,
premieres are awesome. This is where
this
the real work comes in. Is right
the
here.
grittiness.
The
This is
grittiness.
the professional. This is the professional unprofessional.
And here's what we worked on really hard and we're very proud of. Ready?
It glitched a
Hi.
couple of times for
Shh.
me. I hope it didn't do that on the thing, but
You
it
know
glitched
what?
a couple of times.
It happens because, guys, we're giving it to you live tonight. We don't normally do this, especially just the two of us. So if I had some clapping hands, I'm just going to do the actual sound effects.
Oh,
Yay!
yeah. Well, I'd love it if some comments start rolling in.
That
That'd
would
be
be
nice.
nice. Y'all can go ahead and hit the
Good little
comments because I
combo
actually
with the
got a little
locals.
side screen over here ready for your comments. So, you know what we're talking about tonight. What are we talking about, Steven?
Some
The
some weffers.
WE
These stinking
effers.
weffers.
The Weffers, man.
Yeah.
And they really do think
These
that they can control our
WEFers,
lives.
man.
It's
They
amazing to
do.
me, just the stuff that I've seen. And of course, we're not going to sit here for 3 hours talking. So
Uh-uh.
there's just so many
But they're in
things,
for a rude awakening.
just a few things that I've just seen and sat and actually watched. I mean, there's this one of them, this brain transparency device that they think that
Yeah.
we're going to wear. Uh, yeah, we've got some amazing audio of this lady that actually, you know, she's a part of the group that's helped, and apparently it's here, guys. Like we don't have to wait for it; it's already here. So some crazy stuff. So I mean, we went from the eating the bugs to even more encroaching in our lives. Like basically, you can basically lose your job, and they can go and track you through the government if they think that you've done something wrong because of your brain activity. So there's that.
Oh yeah. It don't
So
stop. They're gonna continue to go down your throats with more than just bugs.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey
and
Marcia. Auntie
it's
Marsha.
Auntie Marsha.
It's a good
It's the
one. I should have
grammar.
put the
It's the
mic next to
grammar
that one. Yeah.
patrol.
Say hey. Yeah,
So
they did.
introducing the family here.
That's right.
Say hi.
Say hi, Steph. My beautiful, lovely wife.
Hello. Hello, darling. You look beautiful.
I know. Should do this more often. Look, we only got one person watching. See,
You
that's
know,
Marcia.
we've got a million people watching right now. What are you talking
Marcia.
about? They just popped over a million. There you go. It's because of you.
Up
It's because of you.
a million views.
Yep. Just because right when Steph walked in. You know
They were
it.
like, "Who is that?"
Well,
Yeah. Uh-oh.
who
Oh, we got
who is
another creeper.
that?
What is that?
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's Kimberly.
Hello.
All right, he's out of here. We can get back to these WEFs, but
Yeah,
this is how it
the
is live,
Weffers.
man. We got the I mean, this is living
Mhm.
room live.
This is living
That's
room
how we
live,
do
but I
this.
must say it's a lot more clear right now. So glad you did that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get man. This is just this is a work in progress. This is kind of a new way to come to you guys, and I love that mom's up here on the board. Thank you, mom, for beginning this comments out. So if we get a few more, maybe we can even discuss whatever's on the comments. Okay.
That's right.
So,
But I
would
do
you
want to
like
see
to?
these videos that you got because I put one out in there, but
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't know if it went right
I
well
do
with your
have
stuff.
that. I do have that, and do you want to tell us what it's about?
What's that? Mine?
Yes.
No, because my data ran out on my phone, so I wasn't able
What?
to actually see the video. I was able to read the description of it, and I said, "Hey," but it's the Salazar. It's the Representative Salazar,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew you had her on one of your videos that you wanted to show tonight. So this one just kind of went. It's her, and it's I think it's her saying something about. See if I had my phone too, I could look at that and tell
That's
you exactly
okay.
what it was. But
Well,
yeah,
what's crazy is
so
where I thought I put it where it's supposed to be. Oh wait. Um, this is strange doing this just off the cuff as we're recording. It's
that's
a little
cool,
different.
man.
It's a little different, but
Yeah,
you guys can just be patient with us, and we're gonna get it out to you because this is some important stuff that you do need to know. And
mhm.
if you have any questions or anything that we've seen or that you've seen that we need to know about, this is the place where you can make a comment. Even if you see this after it's live and you see it later, we read the
Yeah,
comments and we will talk about it because I think this people need to be aware that this is continuing to happen. They don't care how we feel about it and they're just doing it anyway. So, you
yeah.
know, I'm
And
so
the more
sorry.
and
I'm
more we
trying.
put these out like this, Kim, the more and more we
Uh-huh.
put these out like this, we'll get, more versed with uh, where what you're doing in the studio over there is like popping the
Right.
video up and everything. We'll get right to it, but
Mhm. Like,
this
right
is
now, I'm having to find where I just saved your video from earlier, and, oh, look, and there it is. It was not there a second ago. I don't know. I say it wasn't.
that's how that works.
Sometimes I'm blind. It's okay. Alright, so let's check this out.
And I rise in support of the rule to bring up to the House concurrent resolution number 9, denouncing the horrors of socialism. And why am I bringing this resolution to the floor of the United States House of Representatives? Because young people in America are being brainwashed by the news media and academia into believing that socialism is an economic model for the greater good of all Americans. And the problem is that they're falling for it. They're believing it. And here's the proof. Almost 40% of Gen Z and millennials think the Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx, the father of Marxism, is a better defense of freedom and equality than the Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson, one of the creators of the American experiment, the American exceptionality,
40%.
and the document which gave birth to the most
I'm not
prosperous and
surprised, though.
resilient democracy in the history of the world, ours, the United States of America. Worse yet, in a recent poll that shows that 40% of Americans of all ages, not only the youth, 40% believe that socialism is good, while 33% of them say that they are likely to support a member of the Democratic Socialist of America, the organization that has shaped the ideology of many of our colleagues with the poison of neo-Marxism. If you
I
Hmm.
don't think that a lot of people understand even the terms like Marxism and
Yeah.
I mean even communism,
They
and
don't. Because now they're just
socialist.
kinda numb words, that everybody just throws around.
Right, and I think that when they do those polls and stuff like that, these kids are like, "Yeah, I'm a socialist. I'm social. We're social. We're supposed to share stuff.
Yeah, or
And
even some of them
I,
do understand even maybe a basic fluffy overview of it and believe that it's just everyone helping each other and we're just making sure
right,
everybody's doing, getting their fair
just like
share
a
of
commune or
everything.
something.
Yeah, and just everybody just sharing things. What you don't understand is the dark side that they don't tell you about,
Well,
and
in the society, there's gonna be a few with the lever of power. It's not gonna be everybody sharing everything. That's just since the
Yeah.
fall of humans, like that's not gonna happen.
And
So
it doesn't help
it's a
promote people to
fantasy.
do it on their own.
Yeah. You know, you can have aspects of that type of thinking in a small community. Okay. But when you're trying to run a nation, the nation can't run like that. You know,
Yeah.
that was the whole
Yeah.
thinking behind the United States and the states' rights, because they shrunk it down to a more local level,
Yeah. To
and
make it
then
easier and give
yeah,
it
the
back to the
small
people.
communities, right. So I mean, would you try to be an entity thousands miles away from all these little towns and governments, and you try to share stuff, and you got different types of commerce happening within the states? I mean, it's just you can't have a federal government um, running that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
that's what
mean,
these kids, these 40% is just not getting.
yeah.
They're not being taught the Thomas Jefferson, the founders, the way that the states are supposed to be set up with the
Mhm.
power.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why having it local gives it back more to the individual. You know, this is why there's a lot of times heavy taxation the more and more government grows, right? And it's because we're putting more and more people dependent on the government instead of putting stuff like money, things like that back into the individual's hands for them to do. You feel more inspired. Especially, you actually, it's not that you save more, but you start becoming a lot more smart minded with your money when you're not just being given money. You get a little bit better with that
Mhm.
when you're getting it yourself and you're saving it and you're doing for yourself because you're getting more in your
Mhm.
pocket. It's a trickle down effect. The more you take responsibility, do it on your own. Socialism, even communism has a lot of those aspects where it is heavily reliant on government. The individual is heavily reliant on government. And that always leads to not only just individual liberties just being squashed because it has to be for the group, but places like communism, they don't allow you to dissent from that, which is, of course,
Mhm. Yeah.
where socialism can lead to.
Yeah,
It
and you
is a
don't have the
slippery slope.
freedom. Right, and people are way more charitable than these governments think. Like, I
Yeah.
think there was an experiment done, I think it was when Taft, I believe, was the president. Might have been him or it might have been Cleveland. I get those. I don't know. I don't even know if they're in the same century, but when I read this, they the experiment was done. There was a call. I think there was a few counties in Texas that had horrible disaster happen. Either it was a drought or it was some type of disaster, and the federal government was calling to put in a tax to and that tax was going to be for the people of those counties. So it got it got denied, like they didn't pass that,
Mhm.
but they ended up, because they wanted a certain amount coming from these taxes to go to these counties that were destroyed or had the disaster happen. And yet when they did it the charitable way, where they ask for the money instead of taking it, which the
Mhm.
taxes are, they they had, I mean, it was like double the amount that, and I had the stats in front of me, but you
And
bringing
they
that
don't have
up
to
made me
jump through
think of
hoops.
that.
It's people just giving
Th-
money and it's going to where it needs to
right.
go.
It's a natural thing that happens with humans.
Mhm.
Like we're
And,
we're
like,
gonna
imagine,
give
like
when we have the money and the choice to give, we give. Especially
imagine,
here in
like,
Mississippi, like
when
we're like number 1 in charity. Like,
so when a natural disaster happens, typically you have to fill out these forms, go through FEMA, you have to jump through these hoops. A lot of times you have to wait. You get a little bit of help, a lot of times it's like way late in helping. When you give the choice of having charities come and help, people willingly giving because they know that it's going to help these people and they want to. People, like you said, they are way more charitable than we give people credit for. And even and I do say this goes across the aisle on both sides as far as individuals go. I know people that definitely don't think like me, but when stuff like that happens, they like to rally around together and help too. So this is people coming together for a common
Hmm.
cause, and it's just
Yeah.
amazing to me that and I mean even places, and I know I'm sure it gets matched government wise, but I mean how much places like Salvation Army during Christmas, people are giving there. I'd
Right.
like to know how much average that they get just off of, just donations alone, not necessarily what they may get,
Yeah.
in government help.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
their
I'm sure that
annual,
does happen.
they're used to this annual flow of charity that comes in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I can tell you, it's just, if government
Well,
would get out of the way, it really would make for better. Because, like you said, you can literally raise more money than what the government would have given anyway. And that's coming out of other people's pockets, just paying taxes.
yeah.
And that could definitely be kept in their pockets, at the
And
same
that's
time.
what these weffers don't get either.
Yeah.
I haven't
Uh,
heard that term. I'm going to coin that term, weffers.
Whoever's. I like it. But by the
You
way,
weffers better stay away.
I can show you a video of what Mr. Klausch wants to take us to as far as, having an open market. No, of course not. But I mean, we're not going towards, I forgot which form of government, but we're going to call it, and he's always said it, stakeholder capitalism. And he goes into a little bit about what he thinks or what he says is stakeholder capitalism. So here we go.
Really commands the fourth industrial revolution and its technology like artificial intelligence.
What's your sense
What?
of who's best placed at this time to lead the world into the fourth industrial revolution? Because you pretty much created this term. We're seeing the kind of technological strides that China has made with Huawei, with the 5G technology. Do you believe that this could potentially be China's time once again?
We should make here again let's say a differentiation. On the one hand, we have state capitalism. On the other hand, we have shareholder or private capitalism. So it's a clash between two systems. I believe that state capitalism in the short term provides certain advantages because you can mobilize in a concentrated way a lot of resources to reach a specific objective. But I believe that the future is not state capitalism or shareholder capitalism. The future is what I call stakeholder capitalism, which is combined with the social responsibility.
Socialist
Social
responsibility.
stakeholders.
Yeah.
They're the ones who's the future. That's
And
what's going to
who are
tell
the
you your
stakeholders? Wait, you would think that meant us, right? Like we're paying into a system when we're getting some back, right? He's not
yeah.
talking about that. He's talking about
Dude,
corporations. He's talking about
I can
companies.
barely pay attention to the dude.
I
It's like
know.
I just picture him with the hood and the Sith.
When
Just
he captions
and
on
these
these, man.
stakeholders.
I mean,
Oh,
thank you, Jack Plasobic. I did have to take that video from him. We appreciate it.
oh
But
yeah. He's true.
it, he does need some captions because sometimes he is hard to. I have to sometimes watch these
Yeah.
videos 3 or 4 times
Yeah,
to
he
get what
needs
he's trying to
captions.
say.
Oh,
And he also
Schwab.
stumbles over his words, which doesn't help either. So,
Well, I didn't know
anyways.
if he was saying capital. I couldn't get that other term that
He said
he was talking about.
places go to like state
Stakeholders, capital, and then
capitalism.
private.
See,
I didn't know if he
and
was
he
saying
uses
state or
he
look.
uses
If
the private sector. When he says the private sector, he's not meaning how most places are thinking. Private sector means like the individual, the homeowner, the whatever. No, he's literally talking instead of a government. He's talking about corporations this is kind of how he wants to evolve
Corporation.
it, is corporations kind of coming together as one. I mean, look into the 2030 agenda. This is all
It's
again,
the
they have it playbook.
yeah.
It's out there. It's
It's
on
the
the
way
website.
around our Constitution. It's the way
Yeah.
around our Constitution is through the corporations. They get big enough. I mean, we ain't gonna stop buying from Amazon. We're not gonna stop going to
Yeah.
Walmart. Like these corporations, uh, they
But what
know
if a
that
mass
that
group
is
of
the way
people,
in.
once
And
they find things out, maybe just a massive chunk? Because was it well, okay, Disney took a hit
yeah,
recently, just uh, their stocks. And then there was another, was it Netflix or Hulu? Or it was one of like the big video
Netflix.
streaming places. I mean, they took a hit
Yeah,
from subscribers leaving. So it
right.
does matter. They had to
Oh, it
literally go
does.
in
And
and
I'm not.
change things.
Well, what I'm thinking, my hope is like, okay, so we keep buying. But I mean, if we just say, "Oh, that's boo boo," we're not gonna mold to what you want to do. Like, if
Mhm.
we can just tell them no to their agenda, but still use their product, like that's the ultimate outcome. If we could just still use them for their convenience, and all those corporations just use that convenience, and then when they come at us with any kind of agenda, it's like, no, we
Yeah, and it needs to
keep giving
happen
us our
that way.
service. And I wish it could. I don't know if they can, like, we don't,
What's really
push your
sad is
the
that
they can
I mean,
push that LGBT whatever they want to do, but I mean, the
like,
people just stand up and go, okay, whatever.
and that's their
Okay, you
right to
like the
do
rain?
that. Like, at the same time that it annoys me and I don't like it in my face, and I really don't like it in, like, the kids' shows. To
Yeah,
me, that's a little on a different
right.
level. But, if a company wants to support that, okay, that's their company. But my thing
And
is the um
if enough of these
go
teachers and
ahead.
everybody stand up and just go, okay, you're wanting to put this in our schools, you're not going to give us this kind of funding, or however they plan on their agenda is to push these things, the eating the bugs and um the electric
Yeah.
cars and
Stay out of my life.
all of
Like, I'm
this. I
not telling
mean,
you how to live yours. Stay out of mine. And if they would, if companies, that's what I was going to say. If companies would just do their thing and not try to like hide, I would rather them just be out in the open with it. If I want to use them, I'll use them. But a lot
yeah.
of times they try to show one thing and they're really another way. And then you find out, then you feel duped after that. Like it adds this layer of like, I really kind of thought it was this way because you portrayed it this way and it's really not. There's a whole bunch of corporations
Oh yeah,
that's
they're
like that
so
to me.
deceiving with how they're trying to get this out. And I mean, more and more they're getting open with their agenda. Like,
Yeah.
the more they push it, the more they're getting bolder to just go out and say, "Hey, we want one world government, and we're going to put y'all all in 15-minute cities." And they're
Yeah.
getting real bold
Like,
with it.
yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to find, there it is. So I've got a crazy one. We were talking about corporations, of course, technology inside the corporations. You want to hear some crazy stuff that they claim is actually already out there. And I may have to fast forward through this, and let me see if I can. Y'all gonna have to just bear with me.
Get to the good parts.
All right.
Hey,
So,
I'm Nicholas Thompson. I'm the CEO of The Atlantic, and I
all
will.
right, we're gonna get
All
to right here.
right, Nicholas.
Okay.
Use brainwaves to fight crime, be more productive, and find love. That's
Minority Report.
You're in the zone. Even you can't believe how productive you've been. Your memo
Well,
is
let's hear that.
finished.
Jameson was
Your
talking about this.
inbox
Oh,
is
here,
under
yeah.
control.
Here we go.
And you're feeling sharper than you have in a decade. Sensing your joy, your playlist shifts to your favorite song, sending chills up your spine as the music begins to play. You glance at the program running in the
that.
background on your computer screen and notice a now familiar sight that appears whenever you're overloaded
A
with
now
pleasure.
familiar sight,
Your
by the way.
theta brainwave activity decreasing in the temporal regions of your brain.
Get out of my
You
bed.
mentally move the cursor to the left and scroll through your brain data over the past few hours. You can see your stress levels rising as the deadline to finish your
I
memo
want you to
approached,
analyze your brain waves.
causing a peak in your beta brainwave activity right before an alert popped up, telling you to take a brain break. But what's that unusual change in your
What if you
brain
don't?
activity when you're asleep?
Right.
It started earlier in the month. You send a text message to your doctor with a mental swipe of your cursor.
Mental swipe.
Could you take a quick look at my brain
Dude.
data? Anything to worry about? Your
Oh my
mind
God.
starts to wander to the new colleague on your team, whom you know you shouldn't be daydreaming about, given the policy against intra-office romance. But you can't help fantasizing just a little.
Oh,
But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings when she checks your brain activity and shift your attention back to the present. You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain metrics from the past quarter, which have earned you another performance
It's a
bonus.
are you
carrot. Look,
kidding?
You
take the
head
carrot.
home jamming to the music
No
with your
way.
work-issued brain-sensing earbuds still in.
The earbuds are still
When
in.
you arrive at work the next day, a somber cloud has fallen over the office. Along with emails, text messages, and GPS location data, the government has subpoenaed employees' brainwave data from the past year. They have compelling evidence that one of your coworkers has committed massive wire fraud. Now they're looking for his co-conspirators. You discover they are looking for synchronized brain activity between your coworker and the people he has been working with. While you
Kim.
know you're innocent of any crime, you've been secretly working with him on a new startup venture. Shaking, you remove your earbuds.
The battle for your brain. Watch this.
What?
What do you think? Is it a future you're ready for?
No.
Oh,
You may be surprised to learn that it's a future that has already arrived. Everything in that
already
video that you just saw is based on technology that is already here today.
It's already
Artificial intelligence has enabled advances in decoding brain activity in ways that we never before thought possible.
here. So they really can
We've heard
like
a lot about
They
AI
say-
pause
over the past
Please.
few
say.
years.
look at the cartoon. They put it in
Right.
cartoon mode. Boy, do they know us so well.
you'll follow along, won't you?
That's I don't trust my brain enough for them to, y'all out there know, y'all have had thoughts go through your head that you're like, get the heck out of there.
Right. I mean, I'm
You
embarrassed
can't
when I
help-
think about it myself.
Right. You can't. That's just scary.
That's just
I don't even
I
want to
don't know
some
if
of my
it's
thoughts.
100%, but just the thought alone that they're capturing something. Like I said, I don't know if they're like capturing actual thoughts. They're capturing like a EKG type beep beep
Yeah,
beep kind of thing. But either
Yeah.
way, it's yours.
Well, they've
That's
probably got
you
some kind of
inside.
crazy. It's probably some kind of algorithm that when your brain peaks at this, some kind of measurement, and if it
Mhm.
does that, the AI says what it could possibly be that they're thinking about because it
Like it analyzes it.
shows
Yeah.
them maybe what they were looking at. I mean,
I
I
mean,
can't
that
tell you the
just-
science behind it, but
that's just
she says it's
creepy.
here already, but you got to have some earbuds in. You got to be hooked up to that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
but she says, and I didn't play it. She said it doesn't have to necessarily be earpods. It can be a headband or
it's got to be on
headphones
you.
or a
That's
tattoo behind your ear. I was like,
Ooh.
that means you would never take it off. Because I wouldn't
That's the
trust
mark,
someone to
bruh.
shut it down at the end of the workday, They could just accidentally leave it on. Like,
Yeah.
no, you are not allowed to do that inside of my body either. I mean, this is where I just don't understand. They say it so much so you realize that she wasn't talking to the people that would be working for these companies. She's talking for the people that are running these companies. She's talking to the people that would want to introduce that into their company. That's
And those are
the
some
freaky
sicko
part.
bosses that would want to know and be nosy like
Right.
that. What's
And would
going through
make
their
you do
brain?
it, or
And
you would
would
lose your
know that
job.
you can't check boss's brainwave out. Why
No, heck
can't we
no.
check boss's brainwave? That'd have to be the
Mm-mm.
stipulation for me. If you're gonna sit there and look at my mind all day, I'm gonna have
Look
a
at your
side screen that's gonna have your mind. What's boss thinking about? As a
oh,
matter of fact, that's a safety thing. I would need to know who is over me as employment, my employer. I need to know what they're thinking. I'm doing work for
apparently they
them.
need to know yours, so
We
you
need to
should know
know.
theirs too. I mean, I don't really know
Hey,
why I would want to know that. Honestly, I don't want to know people's thoughts. It's just weird
well,
that I'm here
you're with
working at a company
99% of people
for
too.
a company. That's what I'm doing. Then I go home and I'm home. I'm supposed to be an individual. They're wanting to take all that away. And that's the part that's just, but
Well, I didn't hear. I mean, they didn't say anything about taking it home, and they were saying earbuds. So it's an invasive type.
then you wore it home. I think you typically would take it off, but like if you accidentally wore it
Mhm.
home, like, like it
Uh,
may have Bluetooth speakers in there and you're listening to music. It said you're riding the bus home and you're jamming out to the music because you were excited about getting the bonus and you left your earbuds in. So when you get
boy,
back
that
and you
that
see that
would
that happened, you were nervous about it, I guess, because maybe you were talking to that guy about the new venture while you were home. See,
think
they're
about
wanting to
those
show
songs that
you,
get stuck in your.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like you could easily,
Yeah,
if
think
if
about
it
those
lets you
songs.
do that.
Yeah, those songs that get stuck in your head. So now you got it literally really playing in your ear over and over again. This does
Mhm.
not sound like fun tech.
No, it
Mm-mm.
doesn't.
That's scary, Kim.
Well, hey, there was some crazy excitement happening on the outside of these meetings. You want to get into these? We had
Yeah, let's see
Rebel
it, man.
News once again, man, leading the charge.
Avi.
Avi,
Yes.
Ezra.
This
We had
stuff is summed up
Savannah
in one
and
simple
Jack.
word. Yes, Marsha. Marsha had it
Yeah,
right.
that's
I
true.
just see the
This
comment
stuff
come through.
is
It is
evil.
summed up.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our way to at least expose it. This is our way to fight back. Y'all just getting it out and talking about it. The more that's uncovered, the more that is actually pushing against them because they don't want us to really put two and two together. And that's what we're trying to do here. Now, again, it's a conversation, it's a discussion. If you have any comments, because we need to all be talking about this. So,
Yeah,
and
and
need
one
to
of the
keep it in your
main
brain. Remember
what's
it.
so evil, what is so evil about it is the deception. I mean, how did evil start? With deception, deceiving us.
Mhm.
They are deceiving the corporations into thinking that this is something that's going to be productive.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
to make big bucks and to be profitable. It's going to be it's going to run. It's sufficient. They're selling it and they're
Mhm.
deceiving the crap out of everybody with this stuff.
So I've got first video I have with Rebel News is them confronting the CEO of Pfizer. Please don't ask me the guy's name, but he is the CEO of Pfizer.
Yeah.
I
Nobody
love
cares about his
all the
name. Nobody's
answers
going
that
to
he gives them.
remember his name. He's going to be remembered as the CEO of Pfizer
Can I ask
during COVID.
When did you know that the vaccines didn't stop transmission? How long did you know that without saying it publicly?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
Answer that
Yeah.
question. I mean, we now know that the vaccines didn't stop transmission, but why did you keep it secret?
Get them.
You said it was
Love
100%
it.
effective, then 90%, then 80%, then 70%. But we now know that the vaccines do not stop transmission. Why did you keep that secret?
Why did you keep
Have a
it
nice day.
secret?
I won't
Have
have
a
a nice day
day.
until I know the answer. Why
Right?
did you keep it a secret that your vaccine did not stop transmission?
Avi's such a beast.
Is it time to apologise to the world, sir? To give refunds back to the countries that poured all their money into your vaccine that doesn't work, your ineffective vaccine?
Get 'em.
Are you not ashamed of what you've done in the last couple of years?
Do you have any apologies to the public, sir?
Right. Right. And I'm not
Are you
going to
proud
keep
of it?
going because
You've made
they literally go like, I think 8
Oh,
to
they-
10 minutes walking.
They
with
realize
him.
that he ain't gonna say jack back, so they
I had
they
to
flood
give
him with
shout
your
out to it because
piece of work.
that whole time, think about 8 to 10 minutes of this. That guy had to endure them
Yeah.
just constant questions. And I mean, questions just like those. I mean, these are the people, man. These are the people I can get behind.
Dude, that
They
guy probably
are
had
willing to do that.
that guy probably had some brain buds in his ear. He wasn't
Ugh.
even worried
Yeah.
about Avi and the other dude.
He's like, I shouldn't
He
make, I shouldn't make a,
Song
I
that he was
shouldn't get all
thinking
nervous
about
because people are going to know
jamming
it.
to.
My handlers or whatever you want to call them. I mean, I gotta though bring this next one up. Let me just go right into the next one. So they also get, we also get to see a star here that they run into. You ready? Hold on, it's coming. Go.
You say you're a child actor? Are you a child actor or an expert? How would you describe yourself?
Oh, look at that fake app.
Oh my God.
Ezra Levant here for
She's
Rebel News.
losing
I'm
her
standing
child.
outside the CNBC studio,
yeah.
the same one where the vice president threatened to clock our friend Avi Yamini. Of course, it's where all the VVIPs pop by to give their propaganda message, dutifully transcribed by the media party here.
How dare you?
It is the most important person in the world, according to the World Economic Forum. It is young Greta Thunberg. So we'll see if we can catch a minute of the young lady's time. Greta, how many times did you rehearse your arrest at the German coal mine? How many times did you rehearse it? Because it looked staged. Is it true? How many times did you rehearse your arrest? Greta, how many times did you film your arrest, and why was it staged that way?
Is that?
Greta, considering you've not spent much time in school, how do you know so much about climate change?
Greta, maybe you want to talk to a real journalist. What did you talk? You here in Davos? Was it successful?
Do not say anything.
Greta, as a real journalist, is climate change as real as your arrest?
Greta, how far are you willing to go? You're willing to break the law. Will you renounce violence? Will you renounce violence, Greta? Or do you support Antifa? You've worn an Antifa shirt before. Are you in favor of Antifa?
Got you.
Greta, how did you get here today? What was your climate footprint in traveling here?
Boom. Yeah.
What's your plan while you're here, Greta?
That's deflection.
Vibe.
That's how they deflect.
Do we have a Fridays for Future demo tomorrow here?
Greta, how do you feel about discussing climate change with the delegates here when nearly all of them take private jets?
Heard.
Do you think at least the fact these delegates take private jets is a bad thing against, what you believe in? All of this could be done via Zoom, so surely you should be encouraging all the delegates here, especially the likes of US Special Envoy John Kerry for Special Envoy for Climate Change. Surely you should be saying to these people, you should be doing this via Zoom with a much smaller carbon footprint, surely?
How about us and our carbon footprint, Tim?
Greta, avoid my questions if climate change is a con.
Greta, what do you think about Bitcoin?
Well, I think that says enough.
Play it. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That was good. I mean,
You can
it's
see
just-
they were
it's all
they were all
show.
prepped. They were all
Yeah.
prepped. Do not say one word to these people because you will get
Except you can
destroyed
laugh.
if you try to answer them back.
I got
They know.
a challenge.
Oh,
And
I can tell you they
I
didn't
want to
ta-
get all three of them, and we're gonna play it.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna play it the next time. It's gonna be who's got the most annoying cackle.
Ooh,
Hillary Clinton,
Kamala. Oh,
Kamala Harris, or
mm.
Greta Thunberg. I got three
I can
of
tell
them
you
now.
my answer right now. Hillary is. I mean, she's known for that evil
I
cackle.
don't know. It's really hard between the first two, but Greta's just meh. I'm just saying.
You got different. you got different categories of cackles. Now, Kamala's is the most annoying, like chalkboard screeching one, and Hillary is like, that's like Exorcist spinning head kind of cackle. I mean, she's just
I know. But I mean, then yeah, Kamala's is
Hillary's
kind of
evil.
the weird, broken up kind to me. But then you got Greta's that's like this little 5-year-old.
Well, Greta, yeah. See, they're all three got their own little categories of cackle. Yeah, Greta's is that like snobby little rich girl. Daddy told her to do something, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to."
Right?
And then you got,
Exactly.
so there's different levels to these cackles, man. That's
Well,
what you got?
let's
You got
see.
anything else?
Can I give a little bit of a well, I'll say a palate cleanser. It's kind of funny though. I'm sorry. It's just straight
Bring it
funny.
on.
You ready?
I'm always laughing at these
lähteä
whiffers.
toteuttamaan lapsuuden haaveita
So
ja
this is our first
alkaa luistella naismuodissa,
transgender
vaikka syntyperäisin
figure
onkin
skater.
mies. Ja
Look at that
siihen
form.
on
Beauty and
9
the
vuotta
grace.
aikaa, eli
Oh.
siihen 9 vuoteen sisältyy aika
Here goes
paljon.
the
Eli
triple
kun
axel.
lähdetään
She's
ihan
getting ready
nollasta,
for
niin
it.
ihan jo sitä, että pysyy pystyssä
She's
kahdella jalalla,
about
pysyy
to
pystyssä
push it.
yhdellä
Here we
jalalla ja sen jälkeen
go.
rupeaa niinku
Here it
uskaltamaan
is.
tehdä jotakin siellä jäällä, niin sitten
Practice
alkaa
this
pikkuhiljaa
No,
kisaamaan ja
no,
esiintymään
no, no.
näytöksissä ja niin edelleen.
Oh
Just get
man,
right back
come
up.
on.
Kivaa
Come on.
uraa on ollut,
Come
mutta tietysti
on.
korona
Yeah,
tuli
the
vähän
man
Oh,
ankles.
call for some help.
sotki kuviota.
The man ankles ain't
Mutta
gonna do
Help,
it.
eteenpäin mennään ja
My
homma
neck,
ja
my back.
Mahtavaa.
Yeah.
Näiden
Neck in my back.
EM-kisojen slogan on tule
You just
sellaisena
ain't
kuin
built
olet.
like the ladies, man.
Oh, look at the face. I'm sorry. I'm
Blades of
sorry.
glory.
Face. I know. Oh, I should have had that
Whew.
queued up right there. That would have been perfect. But you get it. You get that.
That was some comic relief for the globe.
And even though I didn't get any video of it, another another superstar that they had there right now is, the one and only president of Ukraine. Speaking, I'm sure just
Oh,
like,
green shirt.
yeah, just like, the homeless guy in the street that's just like begging for change. He doesn't make a lot of money, so
That's
he
real.
needs some money.
He's a
Right.
bum.
And
He's a bum.
so this is what our supposed Republican Senate majority leader thinks that America thinks is important.
Sure, the Defense Department can deal with the major threats coming from Russia and China, providing assistance for the Ukrainians to defeat the Russians. That's the number one priority for the United States right now, according to most Republicans. That's sort of how we see the challenges confronting the country at the moment.
Man, that neck is
My
distracting.
gosh. I never can figure it out. Is he just dumb? Or is this what he's been told to say and he just has to go? What is it? I want to
He's a
know
lizard
what
man.
all of that is. We have our own going to these meetings over there, and there's a good list of them. And we even have at least one coming from our state, a representative from our state. Our
tell you
senator, Roger Wicker, of course, had to attend
Our
again this
state.
year. He attended last year as well. Let me just let you know, Mr. Wicker, anything that's involved in those meetings, it is not going to happen over here. And I'm just going to tell you, you're going to be on the wrong side of that here real soon.
Yeah,
You know,
we're
this
cleaning
is
up
this
Mississippi.
we
We're gonna
got
clean up
to.
Mississippi.
We got our own little swamp that we have to drain here, and it's been going on for decades.
The ideology and the people of Mississippi would be leading the nation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
If it
small.
weren't
But
for
we're last in a lot of lists.
Yep.
But I'm telling
And
you, the representative, the leaders that we have here in Mississippi are not what the people truly want.
we
and truly
definitely
think.
need a whole revamp.
There's
of
such a separation.
true freedom fighters, people that fight, people that have spines, people that aren't going to go to those types of meetings because they know the people that elected them. When I say elected them, liberals and Democrats, if they voted for you, obviously, I don't believe they're voting for you to go, hey, this man is representing exactly what I want to happen in DC. I'm sure it's only because you're telling us this who are actually voting for you, but then they're the ones probably giving you money. So you kind of have to play ball both sides because you know you couldn't run as a Democrat here, right? So you have to run as a Republican. So
Yeah,
that's why they have to run as a Republican here.
we want the guys going for the voters, not the donors.
Yeah.
And that's what we got is a bunch of donor elected representatives.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
not
and
individual donors. I'm just saying.
I think the voters are waking up though, man. We went to a good meeting last night. I didn't know if you were going to get into this, Kim, but
Go ahead.
we have a state senator here, Mr. Chris
Chris
McDaniels.
McDaniel. Yes, he was a
And
state senator. Go ahead.
he's pretty, he's a tough guy. He's been on the ropes and been in these battles and came
And
out.
fought.
He's a fighter, exactly right. But he's going up for lieutenant governor against Delbert Hosemann, who
Huge
is
establishment
a
Republican. How long ago did he say
well,
did
one of the
he
big
switch?
yeah, the switch happened. He was a Democrat, and then he saw the wind blow towards Republican, so he changed himself Republican. I think it was 10, 12 years ago, something like that. But
It's like
the big takeaway that I got that Chris McDaniels let us know last night was there's the committees. It wasn't there. I don't know the total, but there was 13 Democrats that he put on to, I think, a 16 or 17 total of committees. So out of 17 committees, and it might be on off one or two on that, but I mean, it was 70% he put Democrats in charge of these committees.
Yeah,
So
and we don't
that
have
was
that.
shocking to me. I didn't.
And they didn't even have that many. Is that what you said? They didn't even have, but like, what'd you say, 17? And
Yeah,
this is the
that's what I'm
part that
saying. Like the majority of the committees the heads were Democrats, and he gets to pick that.
yeah,
Delbert Hosemann does. So lieutenant governor, I'm learning
it's
all
pretty
this
powerful.
stuff,
Yeah.
but it's a powerful position. And Godspeed to Chris McDaniels, because we actually need someone like that in that position.
Yeah, and fully understands. I mean, and backs up a record of fighting because he has been a state senator and he knows how to go against even his own party's grain because it's outside of the status quo. I really, really hope that either the people that we've elected hear our voices now, understand change, and maybe we can support them. I really can keep my eyes open and ears open for answers and change in behavior. But if I don't see that, and I mean, I think you can agree with me, Stephen, I will be voting against that. I will be voting against you if you don't understand that we see what's going on. We're noticing it, we're watching it. The movement that's watching this is growing and growing. And their time is going to be limited if they
It's
do
not going to
not.
shrink any.
Yeah,
So
it's not going to shrink. I
you
will
you
definitely
better
say that.
you better hop on the train like while it's going slow, because you're going to get hit by it if you don't hop on. Like
Right.
this awakening is nonstop. It's going to continue to grow. Period. Like our little intro says, join. It's going to get bigger and bigger. So the more and more that you fight against it, you're going to get more and more exposed, and we're going to leave you behind.
Um I wanted to see if you thought it would be a good idea. I love this guy so much anyway, Mr. John Stossel, but he has a good message, and this kind of ties in with the theme of of
Greta.
WEF
Oh, you're
because
talking about what
they think,
man, this is
recycling
really
is everything,
surprising.
right? Okay.
Yeah. I
See
like
how
this little thing.
good recycling is. I say this is a good conversation here, guys. We're going to finish it off with John Stossel, and then we will see you again next week. I will finish it off, though, afterwards. Just, heads up.
This is
Do
interesting.
you recycle?
For sure, absolutely.
Absolutely. Everything I possibly can.
For decades, we've been told.
Recycle America. Don't just throw it all away.
Because recycling will save the planet.
You're saving the earth.
And that's what people believe.
We have to do it for the kids, for the next generation.
This will all be back on the shelf as a cracker or cereal box in about 4 to 5 weeks.
This recycling company is run by Lynn Hoffman.
If we're not using recycled paper and cardboard, we're cutting down more trees.
Recycling paper and cardboard does save trees. Recycling aluminum does save energy. But most of the other stuff is impractical to recycle.
That's right. This is material that came in to the recycling facility from people's recycling carts and is going to leave as trash.
Huge amounts of what people send to her recycling plant will never be recycled. The worst is plastic, which for years has been marked with the recycling symbol.
We see stuff like this all the time. Recycling arrows on it. Please recycle. It's not recyclable.
Even worse, plastic bags clog the recycling machines.
You have to climb in for a couple hours every day and cut them out with the box cutter.
But people think most of our plastic is recycled.
Yeah, I do think so. Is it not? You're gonna tell me it's not? That's the trick?
The reality is that
the amount of plastic actually recycled is around 5%.
Wow.
5%.
I figured there was something coming, but I'm shocked right now. I didn't know.
5%.
All my life, I've heard about how important it is to recycle.
It's not.
Science writer John Tierney debunked recycling claims years ago. His New York Times Magazine story, Recycling is Garbage, set a record for Times hate mail. And yet, what you said is still true?
It's even more true today. In fact, the economics have just gotten worse.
Now, my city would save more than $300 million a year if it just stopped recycling.
Recycling is an industry that's using increasingly expensive labor to produce materials that are worth less and less.
Because it's not worth recycling here, much is shipped overseas to countries like Malaysia, where it's just piled up.
A vast field of plastic 2 stories high.
Some of it from America.
How is that helpful?
See if we can look on the back here. Marysville, Ohio. Look, Walmart bag.
They just dump here and then they burn it.
That pollutes even more. And what they don't burn, they sometimes dump in the ocean.
One garbage truck of plastic is dumped in the sea every minute.
Barely any of that plastic comes from American shores. So,
if you care about saving Flipper, you should put your plastic bottle in the garbage.
The garbage.
But then it would go to a landfill. And aren't we running out of space for landfills?
I'm sure we are.
People believe that because for years the media said,
we've about run out of places to throw away our throwaways.
They think that because years ago there was so much publicity about this barge.
A symbol of this country's growing problems with trash.
The barge traveled thousands of miles looking for a place to dump its load. But it wasn't because there wasn't room. States turned this barge away because alarmist media scared people about what it contained.
There could be infectious waste.
Dripping brown ooze of possibly infectious material.
We don't know what kind of
They
tropical
didn't
vermin
know
is
it.
in that
We're
garbage.
obviously just trying to
later found it
fearmonger.
was normal
Tropical
garbage.
vermin.
And landfills had plenty of room for it.
This is why you
Today,
need
they
to
have
stay
more
awake.
space than we'll
Don't
ever
just
need.
believe everything
If you think
hear
of the
from
United
screen.
States as a football field, all the garbage that we will generate in the next 1,000 years would fit inside a tiny fraction of the 1-inch line.
Really? Oh, that's surprising.
On top of that, today's landfills are not the polluters they once were. Some sensible regulations make sure they don't pollute. Eventually, landfills are turned into ski hills, parks, and golf courses. Putting
it's
garbage here
compost
is
at
much
that point.
cheaper than recycling. So why do towns keep pushing recycling?
They do it because people demand it. It's a sacrament of the green religion.
I rinse my cans.
Right.
I take my labels off. If there's plastic on that something that's paper, I take the plastic piece off of it.
That's fine if they want to do it voluntarily, but we shouldn't mandate that. It's not my religion. I don't want to perform that sacrament.
I don't want to
Right.
either. It's time
Right.
consuming and complicated.
I love
My city
Stossel.
orders us
I
follow
know,
all
right?
these rules.
I just
That's one of the
personally
reasons
love
refreshing.
recycling fails is because it's
I
so
heard he's a really
complicated.
nice
People
guy.
never learn the rules. And why should they be spending their free time learning these rules?
Worse, lots of what we do is pointless.
If you
This right
rinse
here.
a plastic bottle in hot water, the net result is more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere than if you
Which
threw it in the
actually ain't
garbage.
bad.
Even Greenpeace said most plastics simply cannot be recycled. So what's Greenpeace's solution?
Let's stop producing it.
You're saying don't use plastic at all. Ban plastic.
I think that's where we're headed.
No more plastic? But plastic often creates less emissions than alternatives. Environmental groups rarely
Right.
mention that, or how they misled us about recycling for years.
It's appalling that after telling people for 3 decades to recycle, they don't even apologize for all the time and money that they've wasted. Instead, they have an even worse proposal that will make life even worse and will be even more expensive.
One time-consuming dream of theirs is a circular economy where everything is reused.
If you're running out of laundry detergent, you could take your jug back to the store and fill it up instead of buying another one. That's really the goal.
But people don't want to.
Nobody's gonna
You're asking them to do
card
things
it
they
on.
don't want to do.
People also don't want insurance rates going up because of catastrophic weather.
Catastrophic weather increases because someone doesn't recycle?
Sure, because of climate change.
Give me a break.
Sure, because of climate
Recycling's
change.
No climate
Because of that
savior.
climate change.
When Los Angeles mandated recycling, they added 400 polluting garbage trucks. But environmentalists still demand we pick through our trash, switch from plastic to paper bags that rip. California even banned small plastic shampoo bottles. These little things here.
Why do you want to make life more difficult for travelers? Some of these rules are just
Right.
so arbitrary and silly. It's simply a way, I think,
love
for
it,
Greens
yes.
and for some politicians to pretend that they're saving the planet. And it's
To
just
feel
absurd.
good.
Yeah.
It feels like they're doing something.
Right, and I think
Nah.
they get a charge out of telling people what to do.
Bingo.
No.
Bingo. They do.
Man, Stossel's just a man, though. I
Tell 'em
just,
what to do.
I have sat through and watched like 4 of his little episodes, and and I've heard
Well,
he's a
they're
really nice
great.
guy. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, but that's information that's that random information that you just don't. We
And they
really
don't-
have grown up recycling, like, and you just think it's good. But
'Cause
when
nobody
you
pushes
actually
back
get to
on
a
it.
scientist, and you actually get to somebody who has studied the science of it, you know, they made a good point in that, talking about the reasonable regulations. Like,
Mhm.
there is a balance of having some reasonable regulation. It's not like just
If it
deregulate
makes sense.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was sensible. That's actually the term he used, was sensible regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we have landfills that turn into ski slopes and stuff. I mean, I
And
can
parks
get that.
and everything. And I mean, if you
get the
think about
toxic
it,
things out, if we're looking for toxic things
Yeah.
that we don't want to put into the ground, battery acid or whatever, you know,
and most things can break down and decompose. Now, like you said, there's some things that will be toxic if it breaks down. And that's why they hire people that do go through those and make sure that those are disposed of. Everything else has a decomposing time period. And so it doesn't just stay there on the surface. It breaks down and breaks down and breaks down and breaks down until it's part of Earth. And yes,
Sorry
it
to
dumps
break it
on
to you,
top, but it,
humans.
you know, and
We are
then
not going to destroy the earth.
no,
It's
so
and that's
much.
why it's comfortable and I mean, to have a biblical worldview, because we don't. It says it. We're not going to destroy it. We're going to have winter. We're going to have fall. We're going to have the seasons. It's going to be
Seasons change,
yeah,
temperatures
and
change. Every year is not going to be the exact same. We have ebbs and flows in winter, or not winter, in
climates
weather
change.
changing. Yeah,
But
weather
humans do
changes.
not control that.
Humans don't control it because this is one thing that people tend to forget. There was an ice age, and it's very factual
Yeah.
that we had a period of time. I think it was, I really can't remember the period of time, but things froze for a period of time. Do you think that
Yeah, I
man
don't even
caused
know how much.
that?
Yeah, right.
No,
Right.
I'm just saying there has been like record setting hot, like over 100-degree days for like
Yeah.
3 months straight in like 1925. But at that time, number
And if
one,
you
people
believe
weren't
in the
going
million
crazy over
billion,
that.
right.
But
And if you believe in the million billion year theory of Earth and space and all that, they already contradict themselves right there. Like, so
yeah.
a million years ago we had an ice age.
Yeah, I
Were the
mean,
humans
I don't know
around
the timeline.
affecting that ice age?
I just know
Well,
there
you
was
know what
no
I mean.
cars, no buildings. It was before, the Reconstruction
Yeah.
era. I mean, this is before any kind of plants emerged that
It can
supposedly
be a
gave off all
discussion
these
for another
horrible.
day.
Huh?
It's more of a wrinkly brain subject,
It's true. You
but
should
like I
definitely
believe in
extend that.
6,000 year history. I think we're probably I think the Earth's probably not over 10,000 years old. So boom.
And
You can think it's
I'm
crazy or
good
not,
with
but
it either way.
that's what's like. How are we to tell this million billion year thing? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that
All
was
right.
fun.
That was really fun, and thank everyone who did attend. We do appreciate each and every one of you. It is time to go, and next week, I'm not sure what the topic's going to be because I think we're
We'll just surprise you,
get
bud.
we're surprising you. We had some topics come up in our brain through the last couple of episodes, like in real time. But I,
Yeah.
I,
If
I
only we
think we're
had
gonna
some
have some,
earbuds
interesting
and
conversations either way because there's always something going on. But you know that we're gonna bring it to you with the heavy research that we do. Our huge team. We're like $1 million company, and so we've got this large teams doing all these research stuff for us, and we're bringing it to you. So anyway, you can expect that hard hitting, journalism and
hey,
professionalism.
we'll let you know what we learn. That's for sure.
Right? Just today, for example, you can tell that this
Mhm.
is $1 million company.
Yeah, baby.
Love you guys. Peace out. See you later.
See y'all.
See ya.